Hello, this is Running Robert, and today we're going to be talking about the Elite Pharmaceuticals ELTP 2025 Outlook. Today is the 6th of January, 2025, and in this Outlook, we're going to look at how 2025 could shape up. So I generally follow small cap pharma, I do some games, I do a little bit of everything. So if you like what I'm doing, hey, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot, and thank you. Disclaimer is I do own stock. I bought it a little under 4 cents, so this is probably my favorite stock ever. I'm an amateur investor, and any advice given should be followed up by your own due diligence, and information given is valid for today, the 6th of January, and the slideshow will not be updated. But again, as we get new news, new slideshow. So, how we ended the last year. So, we had another solid quarter with record revenue of 18.8 million. Very nice there. Income from operations were a positive 3.5 million, and the company had 6.5 million in cash. So overall, with a positive income, it does make a strong case for Elite going forward. There should not need to be a lot of dilution. There should not need to be anything major because we have enough cash and we're making positive income every quarter. That is very solid. The company was also awarded approval for its generic Vyvanse on the 18th of November, 2024, and launched the product on the 26th of December, 2024. And that is big. And I will give full hats off to them. I did not expect them to get a launch within a little more than a month, especially over the holidays. That is impressive. But what that does for us is it helps us try to figure out like how the sales are going to be, because most of the time you have your stock out that goes out first. So the company sends out what they think to all the pharmacies, they get paid, and then they will order as the drugs start to move through the system. So we've seen that with a lot of companies that they have a big original sale and then not much revenue after that because they're just not selling a lot. So what this does for us is we're going to see those sales numbers in December, which is going to make it look really good for the year. And then we're going to be able to get a good thought process on how 2025 is looking by the first quarter sales. So instead of having to wait till like quarter 2 or quarter 3 to get a good idea of how the sales are going, we'll know a lot earlier. So that is very positive. So the business model, really, it's Adderall and Vyvanse generics. That is it. So IQVIA sales from Vyvanse were 4.3 billion. Adderall sales around 2 billion. Now, I've talked a lot about the shortages of ADHD drugs. They're now pretty much over, but product is still limited. And, one of my big fears is that they would just oversaturate the market. They have not done that. They have slowly built up stock so that they have taken care of the shortages, but there's not like a excess amount of pills. So again, I think that anything that we produce, we'd be able to sell pretty easily without much competition or without much problems. So now there are still 3 drugs between 230 and 500 million in sales, with one awaiting launch, along with a separate drug that's waiting patent infringement trial. So again, Adderall and Vyvanse are really the business model that we're going with. So, yeah. So what am I worried about the most? And this is why, this is what I'm worried about. So RFK Jr. So during the campaign, he rallied against drugs like Adderall and even threatened to create wellness farms, in quotes, for people who take those drugs. So that is, of course, Adderall and Vyvanse are similar drugs for ADHD. That could cause a huge problem. And especially if you go back to the last slide, that is most of our revenue right there is coming from some kind of Adderall product. With the 2 largest drugs that Elite markets being Adderall-like drugs, any movement against them could have a terrible effect on the company. So again, anything that we see that he campaigns for is not going to help us at all. So he's up for Senate confirmation. So there's 3 options here. The one, he doesn't get Senate support. Pretty much, I know that you already have 2 no senators with Alaska and Kentucky. So that really does not leave a lot of senators left. You can only lose another 1 or 2. So there's a chance that he just doesn't get the support that's needed and he drops out. That's definitely positive. Okay, so he does get in, but makes limited changes. So he's able to keep everyone else in line by saying, hey, I'm going to get in, but I'm not going to impact you. So because again, a lot of the stuff he's gone against is saying like against pesticides, what's in food, stuff like that. So for pesticides, a lot of the Republican senators in agricultural rich states don't like him. So again, that could limit what he would be able to do. So again, so that he gets in, but we really don't see impact. Okay, I'm okay with that. Or he gets in and makes major changes, and that is probably what I fear the most, because again, when you're creating wellness farms for people who have ADHD, yeah, you're probably not. It's not going to help. It's bad for people. It's bad for the company. It's bad for everybody. Okay, whew. So that was a lot. So let's kind of take a step back. Whew. At the moment, we're going to assume that there are no major changes because looking at those two things, if he gets Senate confirmation, I think he's going to be severely handicapped, or he just doesn't get it, and Trump nominates some other billionaire to take over who just doesn't care or doesn't have the understanding or the thought against anything. So yeah, with the approval of the Vyvanse generic, we are poised to continue our upward growth. And based on how the agencies have dealt with the Vyvanse and Adderall generics, the fear of there being too many, again, has greatly reduced. So really, there's only one thing I'm worried about, and that's RFK Jr. So the company is 100% a long-term hold. Generics don't go away. A couple of people will enter the market here and there, but we're not worried. We have positive cash flow, a growing pipeline of generic drugs, and the ability to go against bigger companies. All very positive. I believe the company will continue to grow throughout 2025 with a $1 billion market cap a possibility with a good generic Vyvanse launch. If this launch goes as well as them getting it out in a month, we're great. Like that it's going to be wonderful. I do believe that we are headed for a reverse split at some point, and being on a major market, of course, which will help the stock for sure. We have like over 1 billion shares, but if they do something like a 1-to-10 reverse split or 10-to-1, that would put us around 100 million, which is a respectable amount for a pharmaceutical company. Right now, if they were to do that, we'd be worth $5, which would be pretty awesome and would get us on a major market. So again, I think that's very positive. And so really, depending on how RFK Jr. goes, I might increase my position, because obviously, that could pretty much either make our stock worth a lot or zero. And that's really how we're going with it. So hopefully this gave you some good information. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you've made it this far, I do have memberships if you want to just help the channel out. It's fairly cheap. It's not required. I would just like likes and subscribes if that would be nice. There's also super thanks if you want to do that. If you bought in at Elite at 4 cents, and when I first started posting, hey, great, love it. So thank you again very much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.